Hey guys, it's your boy Finn Dietz here, and I just wanted to kind of talk about something that has been kind of bothering me over the last couple years, and that is about Comic-Con. I'm not sure how familiar you guys are with Comic-Con, but basically it is a place for vendors to come and sell figures, comics, collectibles of any kind, and for people who are fans of comic book properties to be able to go and shop around and meet new people, cosplay, and support local comic shops. I know Comic-Con used to be extremely popular in the past, and I feel like since the MCU has really taken off, it's gotten even more popular. And just for some background, I've been collecting comic books for as long as I can remember. I mean, over a decade at least. I'll probably throw up some pictures of when I was really young, I guess, liking comic books. Comic books have been a huge part of my life since, I don't know, I can't even remember when. I mean, I'm a huge Spider-Man fan. I love buying trades especially, but even individual issues are so great. I love buying trades from my local comic shop. I am a huge fan of collecting comic books. So when I say this, I want you to know that this is from someone who's been going to Comic-Con for years. Keep in mind, in this video, I am talking about the smaller comic conventions. I've never been to New York Comic-Con or San Diego Comic-Con, and I can imagine they are wonderful and an absolute joy to be there. Today, I want to talk about why I have stopped going to Comic-Cons as much as I used to. There was a time when I was a teenager that me and my buddies would go to multiple cons every year. I'm talking the local cons and Wizard World in Cleveland. Big enough that people who actually, I guess, are prominent in whatever space they're in would go. That's the level of Comic-Con I'm talking about here, guys. I'm not talking about the really massive ones where, I mean, it's sprawling so far into a warehouse you can't even see the other side and you can, like, stay at a hotel and stuff. Like, no, I'm talking about a small local convention. I would always go to Comic-Con and enjoy it because I would get plenty of comics and trades for really cheap, as well as finding cool and unique figures that I wouldn't really ever see. It used to be a great place for you to be able to build your comic book collection. I would get so many trades at these vendors for like $5 each, and then you just fill up your shelf with a bunch of really cool iconic stories for a reasonable price, you know? It was always a great time looking through the boxes of like rare variant comics. I remember one time I went with a buddy and I found a lot of the hip-hop variants when Marvel was putting those out. So I got like the Far Side variant, I got Doctor Strange the Mystic, which was really cool. And they also had variants from some of my favorite artists, so like Scotty Young. I've gotten a lot of Scotty Young variants over the years. And that's always just so cool, being able to look at all the different versions of comics that are out there that you wouldn't normally see. I always love sifting through the old like loose Marvel Legends. People and vendors would have bins upon bins of old DC Universe classics or Marvel Legends, Diamond Select figures, so many really cool old figures that you wouldn't really ever see. But as I got older, I found myself going to conventions less and less. When you hear Comic-Con, what is the first thing you think of? Go on, give it a second, think about it. If you like comic books, you and I think pretty much alike. I mean, it's in the name, it's Comic-Con. And there was a time when you would walk down the aisles of your local convention and you would see booth after booth just filled with comics of every variety. You would see dollar books just piled up. There'd be bins and bins of dollar books and 50-cent books just out of bags, just loose in the boxes. You would find comic books of all kinds. Now, if you go, you are lucky to find multiple vendors selling comics of any kind. I swear, the only time I see any comics at a convention in 2023 are either the super expensive first appearance wall books or the occasional dollar box. People will have a ginormous wall full of these $300 plus books, and then they'll have like one box of, oh yeah, here are these books for $1. There's nothing really left for the budget collector. Okay, also I just want to say that during this video, I will be talking a lot about budget items and things being overpriced. If you can afford whatever you want, like that is amazing, and I'm so happy that you're in that situation, and I wish that was me. But unfortunately, not everyone is quite as lucky, and some people have less money to work with. And I know what you might be thinking, Finn, if you can't afford what's at Comic-Con, you shouldn't go in the first place. And you would be right. As a toy collector, you go to Comic-Con expecting to walk away with something. It doesn't have to be anything big or expensive, but just something. Where Comic-Con has had less comics, they make up for it by having a much wider selection of figures, and that is great. So then what's the issue? The issue is that vendors bring their truckload of new releases and price them up to the stratosphere. You want that new Black Series figure that nobody's able to find? Have fun paying more than $50. Bummed you weren't able to order the new Hasbro Plus exclusive 2-pack because all the bots beat you to it? Yeah, good luck going into debt for that one. The only benefit of having the scalpers there is that there's an absurd amount of different toys, and if you find something that is truly a Grail or a White Whale and you can afford it, it can be an amazing experience. But most of the time, the prices are so outrageous that it is unlikely to happen at all, which leads me to my last point pertaining to price. Gone are the days where a kid can go to a Comic-Con and walk away with a haul of anything other than dollar books. With the price of admission only going up and everything costing more and more as time goes on, it's really unlikely that your average kid would be able to go and have a rich, memorable experience. Granted, smaller cons have cheaper door tickets, which leads to much more money in the kid's pocket, but if you're thinking of taking your kid to a bigger con, good luck. And if a kid can't go and enjoy themselves at a con, what is it even for? It's 2023, okay? Everyone knows about pop figures by now. They have overtaken every store in the US. GameStop, Target, Walmart, Walgreens, even Hobby Lobby or Joann Fabrics will carry Funko Pops. And you might be thinking, what's the big deal? They're obviously selling, people like them, so why do you care? I know plenty of Funko collectors in my life that love them. They collect Funko Pops, the Pez, the keychains. I like buying the keychains. They buy the pop sodas, so I know that a lot of people like them. So what's the issue? Well, first of all, if people are enjoying them and buying them, then that is wonderful and I'm happy for them. But the issue is that we are out of the golden age of Funko Pops and Funko collectors, so now when you go to a Comic-Con, you see 10 feet tall walls of Pops taking up space just for nobody to buy them. The Funko craze has died down, and now people are left with this enormous amount of stock that they cannot seem to move. The market has become so oversaturated that the people who wanted to buy their favorite character as a Pop probably did already. And what you're left with is 30 plus copies of General Snoke or whatever random MCU side character they decided to give a Funko Pop clogging up the aisles of whatever booth you're at. Because these sellers want to move the product and get it out of their basement just as badly as I never want to see a Funko Pop figure ever again. And it doesn't help that Funko puts out the most astronomical amount of figures, including color variants, retail variants, chase figures, so many figures you couldn't possibly have the money to collect as many as they offer. Who are these Pops even for? They could make 1,000 versions of Spider-Man, 1,000 versions of Batman. Like, we got it. People who wanted a Batman have gotten it already. Again, if you like Pops, I'm so happy that Comic-Con is a paradise for you. But for everyone else, they are a virus that is plaguing every place known to man. It is so annoying to see wall after wall of product that nobody seems to care about and even less people are buying. I cannot remember the last time I saw someone buying a Funko Pop at a convention. Bring back Mighty Mugs, please. An actual good collectible figure line. Real ones, remember. Listen, I love anime. Hunter x Hunter is my favorite show and manga of all time. I mean, Dragon Ball was one of my favorite shows growing up. I'm a huge Naruto fan and a Fullmetal Alchemist. I love Tokyo Revengers and all the films by Hayao Miyazaki, especially Princess Mononoke. So please trust me that I like anime when I say this. Comic-Con is turning into Anime-Con, and I'm not a huge fan. I am so happy that anime fans are able to experience a con, and getting merch from their favorite shows is so exciting and so cool. I love that people are able to buy figures and manga at a convention, but there's a problem. Is that Anime-Con already exists. It's already a thing, so why are we merging both cons? You don't go to Anime-Con and see people selling Spider-Man Lego sets, so why do 75% of booths cater to anime fans exclusively? Well, the answer to that question is that I think anime is becoming and has become more popular with young people and teenagers than comic books probably ever will be again, especially with the MCU on the decline. Like, comic books will always be popular, but it's anime's time. Anime is here. Manga is infinitely more accessible to the general public today because it's cheap and available everywhere. If you go into your Target past the video game section, on the back wall you'll see three things. You'll see the NECA horror figure section, you'll see the trading card section, and then you will see the overwhelming amount of anime keychains, figures, posters, blind bags, whatever. Anime stuff is there. And if you walk over to the book aisle, you'll see a whole section dedicated just to manga, while comic books maybe get an end cap if they're lucky. The only time you can buy a floppy comic book issue is when you go to a Walmart and get them in like a 5-pack. No wonder kids like anime so much, it's what they're able to actually buy. It's right in front of them, so why wouldn't they like it? For $8, you get a whole volume of a manga that can go and sit nicely on your shelf, the spine looks great, and it's there for you to reread again when you're done. Comic books are not being marketed towards kids anymore. They are not affordable and they are not accessible for kids, and it has become something for only adult collectors. This video has become more of a rant video than I'd have liked it to be, so I just want to really quickly highlight some of the things that I think are great about Comic-Con. I've met some of my all-time favorite comic book creators and gotten to speak with them about how their art has changed my life, gotten them to sign my issues, signed prints that I have framed up, and I've done all of that at a local Comic-Con. Plenty of times I see kids being brought with their parents and having the best time, and I think, man, Comic-Con is wonderful, and there's a place for it, but it has some glaring issues that just limit how much fun it can be for people, in my opinion. This video is not meant to be that serious. If you like Comic-Con and have no issues with it, I am so happy for you and urge you to keep going and support your local conventions because most of the vendors you'll see there are either comic shop owners from your area or independent artists. So if you care about comic books, then supporting them is the way to show them that. Guys, if you like this video, please be sure to check out some of my other stuff. My channel's all over the place. It's kind of a mess. I make edits, I make random videos, but I hope you find something you'd enjoy. And if you want to see my toy photography, check out my Instagram at FinnAiden. Again, guys, hope I didn't upset anybody, just talking about how I feel. And thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time.